Hey y'all, this is Audra Hicks, your Tennessee real estate professional, and I have my friend Chris Behling at House Call Home Inspection and Pest too. So what are we going to talk about today?
Well, I think like an important topic we should talk about right now is for sellers. In this market, you know, we've really transitioned into what I would consider a buyer's market.
Been there.
Yes,
yeah,
definitely, there. Right? And so we're kind of moving back into an era where sellers should really start focusing on getting their houses ready, right?
Amen.
Yes, because, you know, when it's a seller's market, home buyers, you know, it's a multi-offer situation, but houses are starting to sit on the market a little longer, and so that's the time where sellers really want to think about doing a little maintenance to make their home stand out. And as a home inspector, we see it all the time. You know, when we are in there talking to prospective buyers about the inspection we just done, you know, the number one thing that comes up is how many things are on that inspection report, right? And you got to put yourself in the buyer's shoes. It's discouraging, right? You know, even if we have, you know, 60 items and a lot of them are just general maintenance, it's still like
maintenance that should have been done already, not just when you go to put your house on the market.
That's exactly right, and it's a little overwhelming. And so I think one of the things we should talk about is that low-hanging fruit, those, you know, 30 to 40 items that you could button up in a weekend, right? Before you put that house up for sale.
Right.
So
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
So what do you do to help do that? Do a pre-inspection on the house for our sellers?
So there's a couple of different ways, and since this is an informative video today for Audra and her viewers, there's two ways. You could do a pre-listing inspection, like I always say, like, what seller doesn't want to make top dollar on their house? Let's be honest, right?
All of them do.
Nobody comes to you and says, hey, Audra, just sell my home, whatever you can get for it, I'm okay with, right?
I've only had that once.
I was gonna say.
I'm thinking back, it's one time.
Most people want to get the maximum equity out of their house when they go to sell it. And so you know, in a buyer's market, you know, sellers really need to either do maintenance prior to listing that home and or do a pre-listing inspection. If you do a pre-listing inspection, the advantages of that is, as a seller, you're going to get an inspection report that shows you everything that's wrong with your house. And you then have the opportunity, in my mind, to correct the items that you want to before you go live on the market. And the benefit to that isn't just that you get to control what gets corrected, who's doing the corrections. The benefit to that is that, you know, the buyer that comes to your home, if you set that inspection report out, you know, gives them confidence, right?
Right.
You're going to lower the amount.
Because now it becomes a disclosure.
Yes.
We know the things that are now wrong
And
with the house, so we can just lay that out there and say, hey, we fixed this, and you know, you can either do a concession for the other, or just know that we've priced it at this amount according to what we found.
Yeah, and I think that's a fear for some people, is like, well, if I do this inspection, now everybody's going to see everything wrong with the house. And that's really not the case, okay? Like, no home, unless it's brand new construction, every house has issues.
Well, new constructions do too.
Well, yeah.
I think y'all have done some of the ones that are new construction for me and had 80 items versus, you know. So here it is. Well, here's the whole thing. You need to fix all of them before we close.
Yes, and that's a whole nother category.
I know,
we could do a whole video about new construction at some point. But to me, like, I deal with buyers every day, and the number one thing for me is our job there is to make sure everything works with the house. Our job there is to make them feel confident in their purchase. Because let's be honest, not many people write an offer on a house because they don't want it, right? And so we're there really to help bridge that gap and provide a level of confidence. Okay? And so as a seller, if you can do some of those low-hanging fruit items, the things that as a home inspector we hate writing up, you know, like and I'll give some examples since this is an informative video, like on the exterior side of the house, you know, if you're in a military area or a high VA, FHA loan area, you can't have any cracked windows.
Right.
You can't have any peeling paint. And so, you know, just
how many stairs can you have without a handrail?
Yeah, it's 3 or less. So if it's got 4 or more steps, you have to have a handrail. If your patio or porch is 30 inches or above the ground, you have to have a handrail.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's things like that.
And the rails can only be spaced a certain, how much is that?
4 inches between each baluster.
So heads can't go through it.
See, my girl, she listens. She
I know.
listens. I love it. I love it. I say some things sometimes I don't feel like they hear me, but you know what? Audra could save me.
Well, I know what lenders look for and appraisers look for and the government loans that we deal with, so
walking around the exterior of the house, you know, just like eliminating, you know, 30 to 40 items. I mean, paint, disconnected gutters. I mean, a lot of people see their gutters and their downspouts and things like that, and they're like, oh, they get all anxious about it. And at the end of the day, those
just
little elbows,
send them out.
Those little elbows that fall off, it's like 2 little sheet metal screws. You'd be so surprised. They're like that big. I mean, I had to fix one on my house just this past winter. And so
shame on you, Chris. You should know nothing.
You know what? I hadn't mowed this winter, and I happened to walk around the house and I saw one was disconnected. So it just,
you know what to look for.
It just took me a little bit. And so it's little things like that on the exterior house, you know, just kind of looking up at your roof. I don't expect anybody to get up there, but like if you have some siding that's loose or some trim pieces that need to be repaired, now is the time to do it before you put it on the market.
Right. Because that FHA appraiser is going to look for health and safety when he's there, and if he sees missing siding or cracked siding with holes in
moisture damage,
all
trim.
the other things we just talked about.
Yeah.
Inside the house too, not just outside the house.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about, we'll work in. So on the exterior side.
Might be a long video, y'all.
Yeah, well, we'll be quick. I'll try.
Nah.
I just taught this class yesterday to a bunch of agents, so it's like fresh in my head. So on the exterior side.
We work good together.
On the exterior side of the house, some people like get super.
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
This office is fully automated, y'all, just like at my house. So you're going to hear things here.
Yes. So one of the things is like you'll notice there's always a door on one side of the house if it has a man door, exterior door, where the trim at the base will typically over time get rotted or moisture damage. That's because that house is probably facing north, or it's usually not the side of the house that dries out the most. People get very discouraged, but really fixing that trim with either wood putty or actually removing a little bit of that 1x4 and actually, you know, putting a new piece in and caulking and repainting it is not that hard to do. You could do it with just a little handsaw or use some type of screwdriver, just kind of all that the decay out and then replace it.
Or if you don't, then we get a handyman out there
100%
to help with that. Some people
don't
attempt to do things themselves.
Yes, you know when you're working with a good agent because they will tell you, hey, these are the things that you can do and these are the things that we need to bring somebody else.
Right.
Like, and I do it too. I don't replace missing shingles. I let the professionals do.
We call our roofer for that.
That's exactly right. And so interior wise, I would suggest, like if I asked everybody today, every one of us could name like 2 or 3 things that's damaged or broke or doesn't work properly on our house. But we as people, we have a high tolerance level of that drawer that doesn't quite come out correctly, or the doorknob that really needs to be tightened, but I just didn't have a screwdriver.
That's what my hubby's for, though.
That's exactly
No, not everything, but you know, he's great at that. He's great at doing stuff like that.
Oh, yes.
And he's OCD, you know that from our house.
Billy definitely is super handy.
Yeah,
So.
he knows how to fix anything.
But
if he don't, he'll go to YouTube and figure it out.
That's exactly right. But even in my house, like, we have a crack in our living room. Our house is 3 years old, and my wife continues to ask me to.
When are you fixing it?
When are you going to fix it? And I'm like, baby.
Good for you, Brianna.
Honey, the house, it takes up to 10 years for it to finish settling. So
so we're going to wait 7 more years?
I hope, no, I tell her, I'm like, hey, a few more years. We just need to make sure it's done moving, and then I'll fill it in.
It's done moving.
And when Kellen's out of school, finally out of the house, and he's done touching the walls, we'll get it repainted and everything will be done.
Okay.
But yeah,
Did you hear that, Brianna? There you go.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And then just walking through your home and dealing with those little things in your kitchens and your bathrooms and your bedrooms, because those are the types of things that every home inspector is going to find.
They will find everything.
Yep. And when they get put on the report, and then we have to sit and talk to the buyers and buyer's agent, you know, they do get a little discouraged once that number.
Oh, some freak out at the littlest things.
Yes.
And then what about concrete, do you say? I love this one. Now, I did steal this from him.
There's
a
two
long time
types of
ago.
concrete. Cracked concrete and concrete that's going to crack.
Right.
So
you have to explain that to everybody.
yes, because sometimes people see that little hairline crack in the driveway and they want to know if they should seal it or this or that. And you know, you just have to let them know that, like, hey, let's take a walk down the neighborhood here and look at every driveway.
Yeah.
They can seal it. I don't want to be, I'm not saying that you cannot do proper
And they have
maintenance on it.
concrete fillers and stuff.
So, but all concrete cracks. So
Yep.
the little
Whether it's
things.
cracked yet or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so the good thing is to just bring it home is if you get a pre-listing inspection through like somebody like House Call, we will give you a report with all these items on it, and then you.
and I love Spectora, the software that they use, because it literally will, there are pictures they take, it's all in color, you know exactly what's wrong with the house, where it's located, and everything. So
Yep,
y'all have the best software.
Yep, we color code our reports so you as the client know. The blue items are general maintenance, orange are our recommendations, those are things that we recommend that you take care of, and then red items are safety hazards. So as a
Yeah.
potential seller or buyer, you know firsthand the severity of the item. So,
Right.
so if you do a pre-listing, you're gonna get a report. If you don't do a pre-listing, I would tell you as a seller, potential seller, working with Audra or any real estate professional, now is the time to actually do some maintenance if you want to get top dollar, because buyers have a lot of options out there on the market right now.
They do, because the homes sit a lot longer, except in certain neighborhoods. There are certain neighborhoods you can put a sign in the yard, tomorrow it's gone.
Yep.
But those are few and far between.
Yep.
You know, for the most part, I always say you've got to depersonalize, declutter, and less is more. Get everything out, then we're
Right.
able to see and get the home inspection if we need to, or see all the things that need to be fixed and get them fixed before we list.
And I know firsthand because Audra sold my house. So
Yes.
we had to declutter our house as well. You
Yeah.
know, all those wonderful decorations that you have too many of.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's worth taking the advice of a real estate professional.
It is. Sometimes. No, it's all the time. Come on, y'all.
I'm just kidding.
Well, if you like my videos, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will see you. And I want to thank you, Chris, for coming today.
Yeah, we enjoyed
Again, I
it.
know you were at my house last time.
Yeah, hey, this office is crazy. Like, you open the door and it turns on the lights and it even opens the blinds.
My hubby and son, Christopher, my hubby is Billy, and my son, Christopher, they keep my lights on for me.
Yes.
And my home automation here at the office.
I definitely need to up my game, y'all. It's like
Yeah,
this is the office space we're in, and it's
Yeah.
more sophisticated than anything I own.
Aw. Well, I appreciate you coming, and then we will probably do another video here soon, or maybe today, I don't know. So
We'll see
stay
how it
tuned,
goes.
okay? Thank y'all. Bye.